3 driving irons, all at different price points and all with different levels of design and tech to provide us regular golfers with more forgiveness and distance. They've come a long way since the driving irons of old that look more like something you'd butter your toast with than hit down a narrow tree-lined fairway. But does all that tech make this sleek new generation genuine contenders to go in our bags? I'm down here at Calderwood Valley to find out, and I've got 3 options with me to test. The first option is a budget-friendly Calais 01X, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I've had this in the bag for at least the last 2 years. It's a direct-to-consumer, order online club that'll set you back about $160 US. Next, at the more premium end and brand new to the market, is the Ping IDI. And this, we're told, has got a metal-like wood construction. It's got a lower CG for a higher MOI and a patent-pending in-air air pocket. In the US, this is going to set you back about $350. Finally, we've got the wild card that was actually suggested by you guys. And this is the PXG 0317X. I'm told it's got the thinnest face in golf. It's 3 times forged, it's got a mill face, and it's got a proprietary X-Core 2 core material. In the US, this is about $300. For anyone that wants to see what numbers I can get out of this 20-year-old driving iron, make sure you watch to the very end of the video. So the process for this should be pretty simple. I've set up on a par 4 where I think I would use this club. It's 190 yards to pass a dog leg to the right. It's about 220 yards though to carry through the fairway where there'd be a bunker. So it seems like the place where I'd want to be using the club. I've got the Flight Scope Gen 2 set up behind me. And in this stage, I'm going to hit all of the clubs, the 3 clubs. I'm going to hit a bunch of shots with each of them to collect the data that we can look at in a minute. From there, I'm also going to jump around the course, try and find some different lies, different type of shots to see what I make of it. We'll get a good idea on the feel, the forgiveness, and then look at the numbers and see whether this is a realistic option to go in the bag of people like us with a fairly normal swing speed. So having hit all 3 clubs from the tee to get the data, I'm curious to try them in some different lies. So down here off the edge of the fairway, so just in the first cut of rough, it's 205 yards to get up to the green. So it's typically the sort of shot where you might look at a hybrid, but if you're going to have one of these clubs in the bag, are they more than just a tee shot club, a fairway finder? Can you actually get them out of lies like the first cut and some of the other ones around the course? So let's find out. Don't mind that, solid contact. It's a different feel to the other 2, but came out of the middle, tiny bit of a draw perhaps. I'd be expecting to see it somewhere down near the green. Good strike, but it definitely cut in the air. It's going to be to the right of the green, possibly a little bit in trouble. Lovely strike. It's very soft off the face. Yeah, I'd say that would be on the green. So we played the shots out of the first cut of rough, and to be honest, they all came out pretty nicely. Good contacts, we're able to get them airborne, so they're the positive type of things. Interestingly enough though, on where the shots finished, there's not a lot to tell between them. So right here is where the PXG finished, and it was probably the one that had the little bit of a draw. I mean, it's close. From that sort of distance away, it's probably about 210, 215 yards to here. That distance from the pin, I don't think you're really complaining about that one. Then in the middle of the green, this is where we've got the Calais, and if you're splitting hairs, you'd say it's probably about 5 yards behind the PXG, but it's the one that hit the green. And then if you're able to see it over on the right hand side, possibly fractionally longer than the PXG, in the rough, That's the ping. So I've collected data on this hole, but now I just want to play it one more time as if I was playing it in a proper round. So, you know, needing to hit that fairway. I know that the dog leg, you have to hit at least 190 to clear the part on the right. It's just over 220 to the bunkers going straight through. So now it's time to focus and try and play the shots like you would do in a competition. Starting with the PXG. Nice solid strike, tiny bit of a draw, straight if anything, right up the middle of the fairway. There's a lot to like about this club. Next up we're going to hit the ping, and all of these clubs are 18 degrees, they've got that in common. The shafts are different though, so it's not the perfect test, I realise that, but it's seeing what they can do. Tiny cut probably suits the hole perfectly. Again, looks to be in the fairway. It's slightly softer, perhaps in its feel. Not quite the same thud at impact, but it feels good. It pops off the face. Last shot's with the Cali. Another one, just peeling a little bit left to right. Good shot, perhaps felt like it wouldn't go as far as the ping, but there's a chance all three of those have hit the fairway, and if you're looking to put this club in the bag as a fairway finder, then, well, that's kind of what you're after. We've hit the shots off the tee, and these were the ones where we were trying to have that mindset as if we were in a competition, so really wanting to find the fairway and play good shots. I'll try and take you through what we've done. So right here is the ping, and you'll see that's the corner of the dogleg that we were talking about. It was around 190 yards. I measured it at 220 to carry out. Basically done that, it's got here, and I've got a perfect view down to the pin, so probably the best of the three. 12 yards behind the ping, but in the center of the fairway, we've got the Calais. It was a nice shot off the tee. It was the shortest of the three, but it's in a good position. Probably a couple yards longer than the ping. Straight up the middle, this is where the PXG finished. So it's in the bunker, about 225 yards to get there, and it would be a perfect look at the pin, but you'd be playing that one out of the sand. Nice shot though. If we're talking about the club's looks, well, PXG sits behind the ball nicely. It's got that thinner top line. Doesn't look like there's as much behind the ball, but there's enough face there to make you feel like you've got something to work with. Not like driving irons of old where, you know, you never felt like, you felt like the sweet spot was about the size of a single dot in the middle of the club. Probably my worst contact with it so far. And to be honest, it still popped up in the air. It still got down there, pushed it a little bit out to the right. So wasn't a good shot by any means, but probably workable. The ping for me, it has that slightly thicker top line. It feels like you can see more muscle behind the ball. So gives you a little bit more confidence that the club's going to help you than perhaps the PXG. I also feel like the club face, it's not quite as long as the Calais. So a little bit more compact in terms of the length of the club face, but quite a lot of power behind the ball. It's hard not to like the look of it. Or the feel, it's very easy to hit. Touch of a fade on this one, which is what I've seen it with all of the shots with the ping on this club, in at least this setup for me, but they pop up and they feel like they're gonna go. The Cali's a familiar looking club to me because it's been in the bag for a couple of years. Having seen it in comparison to the other clubs, it feels like the club head, it feels a bit wide, a bit longer than the other irons do. It's got a thicker top line than, definitely than the PXG. It's shinier, so I think it feels thicker than the ping. I don't know whether it is. I think it's the fact it's that little bit shinier. It's always been easy to hit. It feels very soft when you strike it. I'd almost say it feels the lightest somehow of all of the clubs at impact. It feels like the ball pops off. There's not as much of a thud. Maybe it feels like there's not quite as much power behind it. It's a bit more of a lighter strike somehow. It's just a sensation that I get with it, but really easy to hit. So let's take a look at the data that I pulled over from the Gen 2, and I suppose everyone's always interested in the distances, so I'll throw those numbers up along with everything else, and you're going to see that it was the Calais that was in third place. A little bit of a gap actually behind the PXG and the Ping, which was the leader, with what for me are pretty impressive distances off the tee. I'm not someone with a hugely fast clubhead speed, so those numbers took me by surprise, and they're very playable. It's a good option to have on the golf course. The one thing I'll do is, and you can see the numbers for yourself, but in terms of the dispersion, I think you're always going to want to look at that. The PXGs were tighter together, and I felt like that off the tee. It was a good visual. They would have all hit the fairway, which is something that's quite pleasing to see with this type of club. The Ping, I felt like it was fading a little bit more for me, and the one thing I'll say about this test is that they are different shafts in them. I've been able to go and get hold of the clubs, but they're not identical shafts, so it's not completely perfect in that sense. But in saying that, with the Ping, yes, it did fade, but all of the tee shots when I was collecting the data would have been very playable on the hole that I was playing, so not so much of a concern in that sense. For those of you wanting to know what I can do with the old driving iron, let's have a look. So for the record, the Ben Hogan, the Apex Edges, this is a set of irons I had 20 odd years ago. Thin top line, nothing behind the ball. They look harder to hit, but I remember them feeling good if you could connect. Yeah, they still feel as good as ever. Very buttery feeling, nice and solid. In terms of the numbers, I can't say I'm too disappointed with that. The carry was 187.5 yards. The total was 205. So still in the mix there a little bit. Ball speed 127. I did hit it well, height 68. So it's definitely flying lower, rolling more. Hit it good. See you next time.